Okay, so this is tutorial 1, tutorial 4 in your textbook. Kalau ada yang berbeza sikit, mungkin sedikit je lah. So, mungkin berbeza dari sikit soalan ke, wallahualam Sebab yang ni yang old version punya manual So, yang your old punya tu yang the latest version. So, mungkin kalau ada kesilapan, bukan kesilapan kalau ada berlainan sikit tu, harap maaf lah. Right. So let's continue. So this one, because question number 1, 2 groups of drivers are surveyed to see how many kilometers per week they drive for pleasure trips. The recorded data were analyzed using SPSS software. The output statistical analysis is shown in the following table. So they give you the tables here. So they give you the group statistic and then the independent sample test. Okay. So you already state that this is an independent sample test. So that means kita ada dua mean. Kita nak compare between two means. Okay, ataupun compare between two average value from two samples. So we have the group single drivers and merit drivers, right? And then they give you the output. So the independent sample test, okay, in this situation they put it in the form of columns. So kalau yang tengok dalam asal punya, dia dalam bentuk rows. So yang ni dia dah transform ke dalam bentuk columns. Okay. Okay, they give you the information over here. The first table give you the group statistics, where you have all the number of samples, the sample size, and also the mean value, the standard deviation, and the standard error mean. Okay, so how do you get the standard error mean over here? So just a revision. So to get the standard error, basically you just need to get the to take the ratio of the standard deviation to the square root of n. Okay, so basically kalau yang ni, so for this part, okay, so for this part, this is actually the standard deviation, and then you divide by the square root of n. So divide by square root of n. So that means for the first one is 5.51502. You can obtain this by taking 32.62732 divided by the square root of 35. Okay, you should get the value to be 5.51. Okay. And then the second table gives you the independent sample test, the result. So where you have the leaving test for equality of variances, and then the t-test for the independent sample t-test, right? So let's see how we can solve the problem over here. The first question asks you, based on the p-value in the leaving test, okay, based on the p-value on the leaving test, test the equality of variance in this study. So use alpha equal 0.05. So they ask you to test for the equality of variance. So by right, in this situation, if you want to write down the hypothesis for the leaving test, okay, the hypothesis for the leaving test is basically H0 is simply equal variances assumed. Okay, against the H1 equal variances not assumed. Okay, kita ambil balik yang atas tu. Okay, so that is basically the hypothesis. So that is basically the hypothesis. So using the leaving test p-value, you need to determine whether is the equal variance assumed or not assumed. So in this case, you can see that the p-value is 0.298. Okay, so in this case, since the p-value is equal to 0.298, okay, so in this situation, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So in this case, it means therefore equal variance assumed. Okay, so that is basically based on the Levin test. So since the p-value is 0.298, which is greater than 0.05, so in this case, greater than 0.05, is greater than 0.05, the significant value. Okay, so in this case, based on the p-value, you can see that the p-value is greater than the significant value alpha. And in this case, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So when we fail to reject the null hypothesis, we conclude that the equal variance assumed. So that means when you conclude the equal variance assumed, you have to look at the first column over here for the result in the t-test. Okay, so you tengok yang atas ni lah. So that means in this case, you have to look for this part. Okay, kita tengok bahagian ni lah. Okay, you have to look for this area. Okay, kita tengok yang bahagian ni. Okay, you have to look for this one. Okay, so that is the first one. And then the second one asks you to state the null and alternative hypothesis to test whether single drivers do more driving on average than merit drivers for pleasure trips. Okay, so in this case kita nak tengok, nak buat dia punya H0 dengan H1 pula untuk testing the independence. Okay, testing the independence. Alright, so how do you define the H0 dengan H1? Okay, so in this situation you have the single dengan merit, right? So our H0 will be, okay, mu single is equal to mu merit. Okay, so this is H0. And then for H1, we have mu single. Okay, however, in this situation, gunakan whether the single drivers do more driving on average. So, dia katakan kat sini, ada perkataan more kat sini. So, maknanya lebih besar kan. So, in this case, H1 will be mu single greater than mu merit. Okay, so that is for the null and alternative hypothesis. Okay. Itu untuk yang kedua. So, yang ketiga dikatakan at 10% significant level, can it be concluded that the single drivers do more driving for pleasure trips on average than the merit drivers? Okay, so dia gunakan 10% level of significance. Okay, dia gunakan 10% level of significance. So, in this situation, right now, you have 10%. Okay, so our hypothesis is a one-tail. Okay, our hypothesis is a one-tail. How do you know it is one-tail? Because if you look through the alternative hypothesis, you have direction. Okay, there are the direction greater than. Betul tak, So the greater than. So that is one-tail. That means there is a direction positive or negative. So in this situation, it is a direction in terms of greater or lower. So you have a single drivers have a greater time spent on leisure trip, right, compared to married woman. Okay, is it true or not? So this is what they are claiming, right? So macam ni kita nak tahu kat sini. So kita tengok, okay, ada satu kan, sebab kat sini dia tak nyatakan kaedah mana yang kita nak gunakan. So adakah kita nak gunakan critical value methods approach ataupun the p-value approach ataupun the confidence interval approach. So it's up to you nak guna yang mana satu kan. Okay, for this situation kita boleh gunakan yang significant value approach ataupun the p-value approach. Okay, so when you do the p-value approach, sebab yang ni dia tak nyatakan so nak gunakan yang mana satu. So kalau you boleh cubalah nak buat tiga-tiga pun boleh, tak ada masalah. But this one is just as a practice. So if you are using the p-value approach, so in this situation, kalau kita gunakan p-value approach Okay, using p-value. Okay, if you are using the p-value approach, first of course you can write down the hypothesis. So write down hypothesis. Yang atas tu dah tulis dah demi hypothesis. And then the second part is to get the alpha value. So alpha value is equal to 0.1. So in this case alpha equal to 0.1, right? And then from the alpha values you also know the p-value from the table. Okay, the p-value from the table. Okay, daripada table output so daripada output p-value is equal to 0.15. Okay, p-value is equal to 0.15. So this is for 1 tail. Okay, this is for 1 tail. Okay, kenapa kita gunakan 1 tail? Sebab kita punya hypothesis adalah 1 tail sebab kita ada direction. Okay, how do you get the 0.15? So dalam output yang diberi, in the output given, they give you the significant values for 2 tail, that is 0.3. Okay, the 2 tail significant value is 0.3. So in this situation, you need to find the 1 tail p-value. So to get the 1 tail p-value, you just need to divide the p-value given in the table, okay, in the output by 2. So you just divide 0.3 dengan 2. Okay, so you akan dapat 0.15. Okay, so from here you can determine whether you have to reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, so di sini dia punya decision is that you reject H naught if p value is less than alpha. Okay, p value is less than alpha. So this is your decision, right? But in this situation, since p value is equal to 0.15, which is greater than 0.1, so in this situation we fail to reject H naught. Okay, we fail to reject H naught. So based on this, the conclusion is that, okay, bila kita fail to reject the H naught, so we have to conclude the H1, conclude the H naught. That means they are not different, right? There is not more than single is not more than the married couple, So in this case, what you can say is that there is enough, not enough, so not enough OUGH evidence to support the claim that single driver do more driving for pleasure. Okay, dot. Sambunglah ke ujung dia. So this is how you write down the result. Okay, so that is using the p-value approach. Okay, you can also use the t ataupun critical value approach. So the critical value approach, then you can use the t value and compare with the t values from the table. Okay, nak compare t value dalam table apa dia? So this one is using p value approach. Kalau kita nak gunakan yang critical value approach, so how to perform the critical value approach? So kalau nak perform critical value approach, so let's see this one. Okay, using the critical value approach, so you have alpha equals 0.1. Okay, and then you need to find the t critical. Okay, do you need to find the t critical? Okay, nak guna t ke nak guna apa ni? Ni alpha value. Okay, so in this case kalau perhatikan kat sini, okay, kita jangan tengok table dulu yang ni, sebab yang ni kita kena gunakan dia punya konsep kat situ. So kalau tengok dia punya t memang kita tengok kat situ lah. Okay, tapi kalau katakan kat sini, okay, this is the output. Okay, assuming that the data come from a normal distribution, you can see that the values, okay, the values for the sample size is both greater than what? Greater than 30, right? So if you have the sample size greater than 30 with unknown variances, okay, with unknown variances, so that means you have to use the, kalau dekat sini, diperhatikan dekat sini, okay, this is for the test statistic, difference between two mean independent sample, sigma 1 and sigma 2 unknown, and both sample size is greater than 30. So that means you have to use this formula, right? Okay, you kena dapatkan, gunakan formula ni untuk dapatkan dia punya Z statistic. Okay, kena dapatkan dia punya Z statistic. So you have to calculate the Z value over here. Okay, you have to calculate the Z value over here. So you akan dapat dia punya difference. And then you akan dapatkan dia punya ni lah, nilai dia punya Z. Okay, so how do you do this? Okay, kalau yang ni kita kena kira dia punya nilai Z dahulu So let me just get this one for you. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you get this one So kita dapatkan dia punya nilai Z. So macam mana dapat nilai Z? Okay, so di sini kita kena dapatkan dia punya nilai Z. So you have to find the Z critical. So kita dapatkan Z critical dulu. So Z critical dia macam mana dapat? The Z critical value ZCV saya letakkan ZCV. So this one is from table So kita dapatkan daripada table. So kat mana cari nilai Z daripada table? So tengok dekat table. Nampaknya. Bagi table saya. Okay, alright. Okay, you look at the table 4 So look at the table 4 Kita nakkan nilai Z alpha dia adalah 0.1 So look at 0.1 So you have 0.1 over here And then the values for Z alpha will be 1.2816 Okay, 1.2816 So kat sini kita dapat 1.2816 Okay, so you get that value. And then you have to calculate the Z stat Z test statistic ataupun Z stat Okay, you punya Z stat you have to calculate using the formula just now. Okay, saya akan buat kat sini. Okay, the Z stats will be given here. So let's do the calculation. So Z stat is equal to the difference. Okay, what is the difference here? So kena dapatkan dia punya difference lah. So you have to calculate the difference. So in this case 196.4779 minus 189.1209. Okay, so that is the difference. Okay, saya kena tulis kat sini. Pastikan sebab tak nampak kat atas tu. Pastikan dulu kejap. Okay, so you have 196.4779 minus 189.1209 and then divided by the square root of S1 dia apa? S1 32.6272. So 32.67232 kuasa 2 bahagi dengan, okay, berapa nilai dia? 35 tak berapa ni. So 35. So saya harap you all nampak okay, and then you have the value for, okay, faham so yang ni saya just kira terus so tak ada tempat nak isi pula okay, let me just calculate this directly. So you have the standard deviation divided by the, ataupun boleh gunakan standard error of the mean terus boleh juga guna so yang tu pun sama sahaja. So boleh terus guna, tapi kita terus guna ni lah. So saya gunakan guna formula. Okay, you boleh refer dengan formula tu So this will be 62732 square and then divided by 35, okay, plus the next one will be 2594 ataupun boleh gunakan standard error terus 2594 to 25.94.94217 square divided by 35 juga okay, you dapat yang tu and then take the square root. So dapat 7 point something, right? And then ambil dia punya difference so ambil dia punya difference tu bahagikan dengan standard error tadi so you get the difference will be 196.4779 minus 189.1209 and then divide by the answer just now, so you get 1.044 so sama macam ni kan, so yang ni dia dah approximate so you get this to be 1.044. Okay, so this is coincident that the t value is equal to the z value. Okay, okay, this is equal to the z value sebab apa? Tentukan t value. Okay, okay, this one so this is equivalent to this one walaupun dia gunakan formula yang berbeza, but using the value that we have, we get the value is approximately equal. Okay, so you have this one dengan this one ni sama sepatutnya kita gunakan t kan, tapi yang dalam tu gunakan t, tapi kat sini kita gunakan z. So fortunately the value is the same, alright? So tapi formula ni yang kita guna so you have to show this formula, bukannya gunakan t so this one is using z, so you get 1.0442 so in this case mana dia 1044, okay, sorry. So this one, so you get this to be 1.0442. Okay, so dapat itu 44. Boleh sebut 44 tu boleh 442. Okay, so you get the Z stat to be 1.0442. So based on this value, you can come up with your decision. Okay, you boleh dapatkan the decision. So decision over here. So what is the decision? Let me make it bigger. Okay, the decision will be reject H naught if Z stat is greater than Z critical. Okay, is greater than Z critical. Okay, so in this case, kalau kata kat sini, kita tengok Z stat lebih besar daripada Z critical, barulah kita boleh reject null hypothesis. Kenapa kita tengok yang lebih besar kat sini? Sebab kita punya hypothesis adalah in positive ataupun the right tail. So our hypothesis is in the right tail. Kalau kita punya hypothesis is in the left tail, kalau kita tengok dari segi less than, so we have to look at the left tail punya decision. Okay, bukannya yang right tail. Tapi yang ni kita tengok yang right tail. So we have to look at whether the Z stat is greater than the Z critical value or not. If it is greater than the Z critical value, then we reject the null hypothesis. So in our situation right now, our Z stat is 1.0442, which is less than 1.2816. So what is our decision? So in this situation, since we have Z stat equal to 1.0442, which is less than the values for the critical 1.2816. So in this case, we fail to reject H naught. Okay, we fail to reject H naught, and then you buatlah conclusion macam sama tadi. Okay, so that is the situation. Okay, ni kalau you gunakan critical value approach. Okay, so that is the two approach that you can use. So if you're using the p-value approach, you just can take the p-value from the table. If you are using the critical value approach, then you have to decide whether to use the Z statistic or the T statistic, okay, depending on the given information. So in this case, we are assuming that they come from a normal distribution, and in this situation, variance populasi tidak diketahui, so we have unknown variance. However, the sample size is large enough for you to use the Z statistic, okay, for the hypothesis testing. Okay, right, so that is for the question number 1. Any questions so far? Okay, so question number 2 pun lebih kurang sama ya, sebab kalau tengok sini soalan lebih kurang sama saja. So dia ada male dengan female, and then the source tunjuk show the standard error is 0.9425. So in this case, you kena tunjukkan bahawa dia punya standard error adalah bersama dengan 0.9425. Okay, so how to find the standard error over here? So first of all, you still need to identify whether are you going to use the T statistic or the Z statistic, the Z test or T test. Okay, so macam nak tentukan macam tadi jugalah. So let's look at this information. Is the variance population known or unknown? Okay, yang pertama sekali kita tengok adakah variance populasi diketahui ataupun tidak diketahui. So dalam situasi ini, variance populasi adalah tidak diketahui sebab dia tak nyatakan pun dalam tu kan. Okay, dia tak nyatakan dalam tu berapa dia punya variance populasi. Okay, dia tak dinyatakan. So that means kita kena gunakan sample standard deviation untuk estimate variance. Okay. Right, so that is the first thing. And then once you know that it is unknown variant, then you need to check on the sample size. So in this case, the sample size both are greater than 30. So that means it has a large sample size. So kalau large sample size, that means kita boleh gunakan Z statistic. Okay, kita boleh gunakan Z test. And Z test give you the information that to calculate the Z test, okay, Z stat, it is given by X bar 1 minus X bar 2, okay, and then minus mu1, mu2. So kita dekat belakang tu kita assume to be 0 lah. Okay, so this one is, and then minus mu1 minus mu2, and then divide by the square root of S1 squared divided by N1 plus S2 squared divided by N2. So this is the standard error. Okay, standard error. So that means this will show the standard error difference is 0.9425. So kita tunjukkan yang bawah ni sama juga dengan 0.9425. So in this situation you can say that, okay, the standard error is equal to the square root of, berapa nilai dia? So 4.41911 kuasa 2 bahagi dengan 40 tambah dengan 4.0031 kuasa 2 bahagi dengan 40. So kita kena kira yang ni, tengok betul ke tak? Okay, calculate this one, you get 4.41911 square divided by 40, and then plus 4.00031 square divided by 40. Okay, you can dapat 0.88, and then take the square root. So square root, so get 0.9425. Okay, you akan dapat lah. Sini kita akan dapat 0.94. Kalau nak yang tepat, 2483597. 2483597. So this is equivalent to 0.9425. Okay, this is proof. Okay, so that is the proof. Okay, itu untuk yang pertama dia suruh buktikan dia punya standard error difference bersamaan dengan nilai tersebut. Okay, you have to know which formula that you have to use based on the given information, based on the data available. Okay, the next one kita nak tengok state the null and alternative hypothesis for the above study. So what is the null hypothesis and what is the alternative hypothesis? Of course, the null hypothesis will be, biasalah kan, sama dengan kan, right? So in this case, kalau tengok soalan tu katakan whether there is significant difference in the body mass index. So dia katakan significant difference. Okay, dia nakkan significant difference. Right, so in this situation, kalau significant difference, just difference saja. So you have H naught will be mu, dia nak apa? Male dengan female kan? So mu male is equal to mu female. Okay, against the H1. So H1 akan jadi mu male is not equal to mu female. Okay, and then this one is a two-tail sebab dia gunakan tidak sama dengan. Sebab kat sini dia aja nak tengok significant difference saja. Dia tak kata yang mana satu lebih besar ataupun kurang daripada yang satu lagi. Tak So dia kata nak tengok difference sahaja. So kalau difference equal dengan not equal. So you have a two-tail test over here. Okay. And then given the Z statistic 3.205, do the data provide sufficient evidence to indicate there is significant difference in the body mass index between male and female? Use alpha equal to 0.05. Okay. So use alpha equal to 0.05. So in this case, kita dah ada nilai Z statistik. So kita kena cari nilai Z alpha. So yang ni adalah Z alpha over 2. Kenapa Z alpha over 2 bukan Z alpha? Sebab kat sini dia adalah two tail. Sebab dia tidak sama dengan. Kalau one tail, Z alpha sahaja. Okay, ataupun negative Z alpha. So this one is two tail, so that means you have to find Z of 0.025 with alpha. So in this case, alpha is equal to 0.05, right? So bila alpha to 0.05, so divide by 2, you get 0.025. So identify the value for the critical value of Z from the table. So kita tengok table, so kita tengok table 4 sekali lagi. So under table 4, find 0.025. Okay, this will be 0.025. That is the Z alpha give you 1.96. So in this case, you have this to be 1.96. Okay, and then compare the value of Z with 9.96. So in this situation, you reject H0 if Z stat okay is greater than is greater than either way so kiri ataupun kanan so it's between these two value so this case is either if Z stat is greater than 1.96 or Z stat is less than negative 1.96. Dia two tail sebab yang ni adalah two tail. So bila ada two tail macam ni, so you akan ada dua kiri dan kanan So you have the two tail over here. So in this case kalau two tail kita akan ada satu dekat sini, satu lagi kat sini. So this is Z alpha over 2. This one is negative Z alpha over 2. So you have 1.96 dengan negative 1.96. So this will be the rejection region. So that means kita akan reject null hypothesis kalau katakan nilai Z test berada di dalam kawasan lorikan, iaitu lebih besar dari 1.96 ataupun lebih kecil daripada negatif 1.96 because this is a two tail. So in this situation you see that null hypothesis kita the given Z statistic is 3.205. So which is greater than 1.96. Okay. So here you have since Z stat is equal to 3.205 which is greater than 1.96. So in this case you reject H0. Okay, you reject H0. So kalau you reject H0, apa maksudnya tu? So conclusion kita adalah there is enough evidence to indicate that there exists significant difference between in body mass index between male and female. Okay, itu soalannya untuk kita identify the result. Boleh? So that is for the second question. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, the third one will be the PET sample statistic. So, sebelum kita pergi kepada yang the third one, saya just nak tunjukkan, okay, betul ke nilai Z ni kita boleh dapatkan 3.205. Okay, kalau ke formula, Z stat ni adalah sama dengan, kita ambil dia punya beza, and then bagikan dengan dia punya standard error tadi kan. So, tadi dah kira standard error. So, right now, kalau kita ambil dia punya difference, so the difference will be 27.0375. Dekat 27.0375 and then minus 24.0173. Okay, dapat 3.0202 and then you divide by the standard error. Standard error is 0.9425. So you akan dapat 3.204. Okay, 20445 something So 20445, so you get dapat 3.205. So betul lah nilai yang diberi tu So kalau katakan nilai tu tak ada, you can calculate the value. So macam nak dapat nilai Z, ambil dia punya difference mean dengan mean male dengan mean female, and then divide by the standard error. So dapatlah dia punya Z stat. Okay, ada soalan? Okay, the next question will be the PET sample statistic. Okay, the next one will be the PET sample statistic. So yang ni bagi yang data yang bersifat dependent. So dia ada yang before and after, pre and post. Okay, so this is yang PET differences. So that means you have a dependent sample. Okay, so bila tengok kat sini macam soalan yang pertama ni, dia suruh cari nilai G. Okay, dia suruh cari nilai G. So you have to look at this one. So betul-betul you kena hati-hati. Bila nak cari nilai G ni, tengok dia punya yang atas ni, before minus after ke ataupun after minus before. Do not just simply take the value and then subtract. Okay, you kena follow dekat dia punya title tu. So dia punya title say before minus after. So kena ambil yang before punya mean minus the after punya mean. So that is the correct way. Okay, so in this case kalau ikut kat sini, mean adalah before minus after. So before will be 85.2. So this one give you 85.2 minus 82. So this give you 2.8, right? Sorry, 2.8 lah dah. Sorry. 3.2 Okay, 3.2. And then they ask you to prove the T statistic value for the above study. Okay, dia bagi kat sini T statistic apa? Ada dekat T statistic dia 4.707 kan. So dia suruh prove this value is it correct or not. So macam mana kita nak prove? Kita kena tengok formula mana yang kita nak guna. So in this case you have 10 and 10. So kita tengok formula untuk cari nilai T. So nilai T diberi oleh apa? So kena tengok dekat sini dia punya table untuk yang dependent sample. So what is the value of T statistic here? Okay, the T statistic is given by this value. So D bar minus D0 divided by SD divided by the square root of N. Okay, and then you have to find the value of the standard error for the difference. So this is the formula. So yang ni kalau kita ganda table nak tengok kat mana? Okay, this is the standard deviation. Okay, this will be the standard deviation. So kita kena cari dia punya standard error. So jangan confuse So standard deviation dengan standard error will be a different thing. So standard deviation is S, standard error is SE. Okay, so yang ni standard deviation. So maknanya kalau kita nak carikan dia punya standard error, so you have to divide by the sample, right? Okay, you have to divide by the sample. So this is the standard deviation. So kena cari dulu dia punya ni. So this is the standard deviation, and then you divide by the sample. So the square root of the sample, then you get the standard error. Okay, so that means in this situation, to find the T value, so T is just simply equal to X before minus X after, and then divide by SD over the square root of N. So in this case, XB minus XA tadi kita kira kan sama juga dengan 3.2, and then divide by what is SD? 2.14994, and then divide by the square root of N. N is equal to 10. So square root of 10. So you kira lah yang ni So you akan dapat okay, and then 3.2 divided by okay, you akan dapat 4.70677. Okay, you akan dapat 4.7067 7. So this is approximately 4.707. Okay, so that is for question number B. And then dia suruh kita state the confidence interval for the mean difference before and after 6 weeks of the test. So what is the confidence interval? So this will be the confidence interval. So this part is the confidence interval. So this is 95% confidence interval. Okay. So this so state saja kan. So dia nak kita state saja, kita state je lah. So 95% CI will be 1.66203 until 4.73797. Okay. And then the next one you have at the 5% level of significance, is there sufficient evidence to indicate that this kind of exercise device could reduce. Okay, dia katakan could reduce. So bila ada reduce ni maknanya ada dia punya direction. Okay, could reduce the resting pulse rate. So dia nak reduce the resting pulse rate. Maksudnya before minus after should be a positive value. Okay, lebih besar. So maknanya before mesti lebih besar daripada after. Barulah dikatakan reduce. Okay. So in this case, you have to write down the hypothesis. So hypothesis yang pertama, the H0 will be mu before is equal to mu after. Okay, but the alternative hypothesis will be H1 mu before dengan mu after. Okay, dia katakan reduce So maknanya kalau reduce, yang before ni lebih besar daripada yang after, baru kita dapat reduce. Okay, because we want the difference to be positive. Bila difference dia adalah positif, bagi before minus after, barulah kita dapatkan dia adalah reducing. Kalau katakan you gunakan after minus before, then it will be the reciprocal of it. So it will be the other hand of it. So dia akan jadi, kalau tadi gunakan besar lebih besar, yang ni kena gunakan lebih kecil. But for this situation, you have this to be mu b greater than mu a. So this will give you and will indicate that there is a reduction and in pulse rate. Okay, kalau katakan before minus after, maknanya kalau dapat positif, then it is a reduction. Kalau dapat negatif, dia akan jadi increase, bukannya decrease. Right? So yang the rest of the information will be the same as what we did before. Okay, boleh So that is for the independent sample t-test dengan dependent sample t-test. Ada soalan tak? Okay, yang lain-lain tu you all boleh cuba sendirilah. So yang question number 4 ni saya nak you all cuba sendiri buat. So boleh check jawapan dia. So kat sini ada jawapan dah kan semua kan. Okay, yang question number 4 ni will be the ANOVA. Okay, this one is ANOVA. And then question number 5 will be the chi-square test of statistic. Okay, and then you boleh tengoklah jawapan dia kat sini. So kat sini ada jawapan dia kan. So living test, apa dia. Okay, this is how you write down the answers. Okay. Okay, you write down the difference. Okay, yang ni boleh gunakan D So you boleh gunakan mu D. So this is either you are using mu D, because mu D here is just the same as mu before minus mu after in this situation. Okay, in this situation you have the mu before minus mu after. Okay, boleh? Boleh?